Hey, it's the Chief, Bonnie with Board Games, and I want to show you a digital World War II Pacific game called Carrier Battles for Guadalcanal. We'll go in and take a closer look actually at the iPad in a second. But this game has captured me recently. It was only $5. I think it might be up a little bit higher than that now. And it's the spiritual, if I'll put it up correctly, spiritual successor for John Southard's Carrier. All right, so this is very hard to get. It can be a bit fiddly, awesome, solitaire game. But in this game, and I'm going to read off some notes, I've played probably, I bet you I've played 5 or 6 hours of this on the Midway mission, and I think I've been messing around. It wasn't Coral Sea. Coral Sea's a little harder. There's another one that's all about attacking air bases. But currently, 5 historical scenarios. They have the Battle of the Coral Sea, May of 42. They have Guadalcanal, November of 42. There's more that I'll show you when I zoom in because I'll show you some different stuff. It is a hex map grid. It's very, very similar. The Bismarck Sea, Bougainville, the Coral Sea, to the map that's in Carrier. It shows here hex map with the scale of 30 miles per hex, 25 types of warplanes. The P-38, the TBF, the Hellcat, Wildcat, the Buffalo, the A6M20, the Kate. I could go on and on. I'll just show you some of them when we get in closer. All your torpedo bombers, your Dauntless dive bomber, all the historical ships. There's this beautiful search system that I'll show you when we get in here. You set it, you set the angle, you set the depth of hexes that they're going to search, and then the type of plane that can go out. Obviously, like I've been using B-17s just because their lingering time is so long. I haven't gotten to the airboats yet, which are even better. Airstrikes against naval and land targets, surface battles, true, I've been in a few of those. Advanced damage system, invasion, naval bombardment, I said that all crazy, bombardment. Radar turn-based system of 20 minutes each, available in English and French, and I always forget his name, Cyril Journat, or maybe he's French, Journeau, I don't know, sorry Cyril, but a phenomenal game. A lot of people are complaining he can't get it on Android. I don't know if he's working on that. He's recently added some in-app purchases where you can even play against another person. Otherwise, it was all solitaire. I haven't purchased any of these in-app purchases yet. A lot of purchases. But I can't wait to play as the Imperial Japanese Navy. Let me go in and show you a couple screenshots that are on here and probably open the app and show you some of that. I think you'll be very, very intrigued. The tutorials here are great. It's almost like sitting down and wrapping yourself in a blanket and just playing as a blizzard's going on, if that makes sense. Let me go in and show you a couple tight shots. All right, first of all, I don't actually have the app that would allow me to record directly from the iPad. If anybody knows a good one of those, let me know, because I got a feeling I'm going to be doing more of these. But this is your opening screen, and saved games, new games, 2 players, which I have it open up, but rules and tutorials. If I can get it to, there we go. All right, so you can see I've been through the introduction, how air units work, ships and forces, and it literally walks you through air searches, air strikes, and it is so nice and intuitive as you move along. You then get into it, well, let me open one of these, like let me open air search so you can see what it looks like. So it opens up to the screen where you're going to have the airplanes that are available. So I have a cap that is up and running. I've got an F4F in there, and then I've got a TBD torpedo bomber. And when you play, you simply drag and drop the piece into the category that you want. So you've got your cap, You've got your search screen, which this is in the way in the tutorial, but below here is another type of search you can run. And then you've got your strikes or your transfers. So you can either send groups out on bomber strikes. You might just be moving them from carrier to carrier or carrier to land-based if a carrier sunk. But then what you get is, this is going to take 40 minutes for these two planes. By the way, they're not two planes, it's two counters. Each one's 4 planes per counter. So to get fueled up, to get taxied out, and to get up to their cap area is going to take you 40 minutes. Turns go by in 20-minute increments. But if I had this Dauntless, this SPD Dauntless bomber, dive bomber, I could float it up into this area. Actually, I've got the TBF, which is, oh, sorry, the torpedo bomber is already up there. So I would drag it into here, and this is going into search mode. But you know what? I didn't want that. You simply hit come back, and now I could put it over into strike mode. And so you can see you're able to task what you want things to do. So I want my fighters to come up and provide a cap, a defensive cap. I want this TBF to go out and do a 20 hex 360 degree search. I want this group to go out and target, and then I would tap this. It's all tap sensitive, and I could then pick the strike that I wanted to occur. And it is just so nice and intuitive, and you can see they all log in, and you can't quite see it again because it got the tutorial up, but it walks you through and teaches you how to do all of these things. You can see down below are your different aircraft carriers that I have available. I don't know if the tutorial let me open it up. I don't think it will. There we go. Sure, there's the Hornet. So you can see, again, that's as simple as tasking them to search. I could have 2 different search arcs running. I could have a cap up. You can stagger your caps so that they're coming up and coming down at different times. You can set them so that they'll continue to come down, refill, and come back up, which is great. It's really gets rid of a lot of the micromanaging fiddliness. You can kind of just set them so they're revolving in and out. You've got a current cap up. So that is just kind of showing you some of the tutorials. Let me pop over to advanced, and you can see some of the more. So we've got ships and forces. This will get into when you get into surface ships that are fighting each other. They'll launch torpedoes at each other, and then they're firing their big guns at each other. Tutorials will walk you through that. You've got weather issues, bombardments on airfields. I haven't gotten into multiplayer, although I've done the tutorial. So if I come back to the main menu and I were to start a brand new game, you'll actually get to see all the different historical missions, some of which are in-app purchases like Operation Watchtower. But you get Coral Sea, a little more difficult. Midway's easier. Eastern Solomons comes with it. Santa Cruz. Guadalcanal, in-app for Operation Kai, Bismarck Sea, and then the end of Rabaul, which is also an in-app purchase. But you get a historical note. You can then hit play. So with the Coral Sea, it'll walk you through the scenario with the maps you're going to be looking at. You can get some more historical notes on it. And then you'll come into several things. One is the time. Sorry, I need to hit surface. And I have an older iPad, so maybe I'll cut some of this. All right, so you can see the map field that's in play. So you've got New Britain, you got the Solomon Sea, Bougainville, here's New Guinea, New Britain, Bismarck Sea, and you can see, no pun intended, Solomon Sea, Solomon Islands, New Georgia. So you can see your player area, and when you have ships out in the ocean, all right, like so, and you can simply zoom in. You can see what task force they are. I can click on them, and it'll pull up and show me exactly what's in there. I can give movement orders. I can give some stuff that I can automatically set up. You can see who's got little seaplanes they can drop out along with the carrier, and then there's the values for their power and strength that you would get in if you know. As far as moving, it's as simple as setting up a movement, and I can pick in, and then it'll start moving to that as the turns go through. So look at this though, the ability to shrink that map down, scroll around. You can see the vastness of what's in play. Here's Queensland, Australia. You can see the Great Barrier Reef. And you'll even see where here I've got Port Moresby. All right, I can click on Port Moresby, and you can see it's just like the tutorial for the ships. I can have, sorry, I bumped the camera. I can have a cap. I can send out dive bombers. I got regular fixed bombers. But let's say I want to send out a search team. I'm now sending out 2 groups, so about 8 airplanes. It's going to take them 40 minutes to get up, and once they get up, you'll see these concentric rings that start to go out. They're doing a 20 hex 360-degree search grid. As they spot stuff, you can get 4 levels of information on the enemy, which helps you focus your search, maybe send out an attack. You get a little bit of fog of war all at the same time. And coming to this screen, I can get events. It'll tell me kind of what's going on or attacks that have happened. I can pop over to victory points as things fall off the shelf. So nothing's really happened, but you'll get points on damage or sinking you do to carriers, planes, airfields, battleships, cruisers. You can see it. In this case, it's showing you one of my main objectives is the control of Port Moresby. I start off with 20 points, and it can slowly shift over to the other side, and then control the Guadalcanal, Lunga Point, and then there's time and attrition. You can also pop in at this point on losses. There's been none. It'll count off your planes. It'll show ships. It'll give you details. You can look at this specific damage. Damage will tell you like carrier decks on fire or damaged or destroyed or listing. Repair crews go to work. It's just a wonderful amount of detail. So I think that gives you a pretty good picture of what's going on. We'll come back to the map one last time, and we'll come out a little bit, and I will show you. Let's pop in on the Japanese so you can at least get a view of Rabaul. Come on, open up. Well, maybe it's because I don't have enough information. If you have more information, you can usually, I don't have it yet. Not only can you click on it, but it'll show you the aircraft that are there, damaged, or whatever information you can get. But I haven't flown over it or attacked it. Fun, engaging game. There's no sound, or I defaulted it's not on. But you don't really need sound with it, I'll be honest with you. I just kind of sit and play while the kids are watching shows or something. But I can't tell you enough to go take a look at carrier battles for Guadalcanal. It's a blast. I'm having tons of fun. I'll play a mission, and then I'm playing it again and again and again and getting slightly different outcomes. They'll do historical setups, but then they'll modify, and it'll tell you, hey, historical strength, but the Japanese Navy, you're not sure where they're going to be exactly, or vice versa. So it's currently on version 2.1.2, and it's a blast.